What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bling Talks. Today we have Lani Harmony, the founder and CEO of Urban Charm, a design and brand development boutique specializing in custom jewelry design, prototyping, and small batch manufacturing, and also creative consulting services. Lani's journey from a modest kitchen workshop to an established, distinguished brand reflects her dedication to craftsmanship and innovation in the jewelry industry, and her commitment to offering United States made limited edition collections has set the Urban Charm apart as a beacon of quality and creativity. So I'm super, super excited to have you on, hear your story. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day, Lani.
Thank you. That was actually a great intro. Oh, a little bit blushing here. That was great. Yeah. So thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited to kind of tell you guys a little bit about my story and what I'm kind of looking forward to in the future and that kind of stuff. So
so just kind of tell us real quick what's your business and website and things like that, what you guys do.
Okay, so the business is the Urban Charm. And it's www.urbancharm.shop. And we do a little bit of everything related to jewelry. Basically from idea to full-blown brand launch, whatever aspect of the jewelry, wherever you're at, from designer to creator to manufacturer to retailer, we can kind of help you along the way. So yeah, that's a little bit of a lot.
Yeah, so that's super cool. So you guys kind of really focus on the craft there. Every piece is a little bit unique. It's not so much of a cookie cutter experience. So tell us kind of what an experience is like for a customer.
Okay, so we generally get a lot of smaller businesses. Designers will come to us with an idea and they will want us to basically create their piece. So we don't only have our own specific pieces they can buy. We can basically do the whole process. So for instance, let's say you come in and you say, hey, I want to create a collection of earrings and rings and necklaces. And so we'll say, okay, let's kind of hone it back. Let's focus on one piece, and we'll just basically create a model. Then we can go into creating the molds, production molds. Then we can create the pieces. We can plate the pieces. We can assemble the pieces. We can photograph the pieces, market the pieces. So we kind of get the client in, figure out what their need is, and then we kind of take it to that level. So every client's, it's very personal and individualized as to what they actually are receiving from us, essentially. So we either will make them a finished product, or we'll help them design something, or we'll help them launch their brand. So there's a lot, essentially. Wow. I feel like.
Yeah, so you guys actually, is more of your business from B2B or B2C?
Business to business or business to commerce, both, honestly. Because we have our own house brand collection, which I designed. Oh, it's hard to talk about myself a little bit here. Because I'm being recorded live. Oh, and everybody's going to hear this. Anyways, taking a deep breath here. So I've designed a house collection. I've got my own collection. And then we use that as kind of a base for people to get ideas. And then we also sell that. I sell that online to consumers. I wholesale it. So I have some of that in dropship accounts throughout the 50 states. I've got 36 states selling my products.
Wow.
And then I also do the whole back end. So we've got the manufacturing house, and we also develop a bunch of other brands. So I'm kind of doing it all.
Yeah. Wow. So how long have you been doing the business to get to, yeah.
I hit 10 years this year. So I started this business 10 years ago. I started in that kitchen. I started in a kitchen. I had $500 to my name, And I said, I'm going to either make somebody else money and build their business, or I'm going to make my own money and build my own business. So I just like said, let's do it. And so I started this jewelry business. I met a man who's been in the industry for about 30 to 40 years. He's developed for Disney and St. John and a bunch of big brands and whatnot. And he took me in and I started apprenticing with him, and we started doing custom stuff. So I started getting some clients doing custom manufacturing. And that's kind of how I started to market my brand in the beginning. And then we took the manufacturing from those clients, and then I used the monies that would come in and make that. And then I'd develop my own brand, and then I'd start to market my own brand. And then it just kind of kept going that way. And then eventually we gained some bigger clients and some, I don't know, it all just kind of blossomed. And now I'm 10 years into the business, and I've got my hand in a little bit of all of it. And I'm a very, it's me and like three guys, and I'm ready to like go above my glass ceiling, and I kind of like don't know what to do and where to go. So I'm trying to figure out these next 5 years. Like, do we focus on the custom stuff and building this manufacturing part of the business, or do we focus on pushing our brand out there more? So yeah, it's very interesting journey how 10 years has taken me from like a kitchen to like, where do I take my empire?
Wow. First of all, that story's badass. Congratulations. And
Hey,
uh,
thanks.
takes a lot of grit and also passion for what you do. So you got to have that to accomplish, to go from that, that kitchen to having all these different legs and great, amazing things that are really authentic to you and your craft. So pretty awesome. And just wanted to say great job. And it's cool to see. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. That's why I do this, and I think that the community always benefits from it. A lot of people are ahead of others that are on here, but I think everybody learns something from somebody on here, and that's just a really cool story. So I guess you kind of mentioned not knowing which way to go with the business. I'll just say I don't think you're alone. I think every
Yeah.
business owner kind of faces that. So, what are kind of some of the challenges that come with making that decision, and what are you kind of leaning towards?
Well, I guess being the maker of all of my jewelry, and a lot of like the everything we do, it's all hands. So my hands physically, I don't know how long they'll be able to continue to do what I'm doing, right? So I think, is this what part of the business, like me physically being in the business, how is that going to look, right? So it's a challenge because it's like I want to manage and have my hand in everything, but the challenge would be more so like letting other people kind of take the reins on certain roles within the business, I guess, right? So that challenge is like, how do I release the control, knowing that I'm going to be able to put somebody in a position to take on that, I guess, role or position essentially, right? So I don't have to physically be doing all of the things I'm doing. Um, yeah, does that make sense, I
Yeah,
guess?
the huge thing that a lot of businesses, every business runs into, especially jewelry makers, retail type business owners. The strength is that we are the quarterback. The weakness is that we're the quarterback, and it's a vicious cycle. And there is definitely ways out of that. And it is the difference between being a good business and being a great scaled business that doesn't hold us hostage as the business owner. And it is a very transition and dark tunnel to get through.
It is. It's interesting, it's like your baby, so you kind of want to have your hand in all of it, but then at the same time, like there's so many skilled people out there that can help. So how do you let those people come in and kind of like, uh, you know, help you essentially, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Well, a lot
see
of
what
it's
happens.
training and process, and it's got to be unique to your business.
It's
Uh,
true.
and does it have to be handmade?
I mean, yes, it does.
Okay.
Just because I think I pride myself on the fact that we are a handmade artisan brand, which we utilize technology, right? So we've got laser machines, we can do the CAD, we've got the wax, um, we do the lost wax casting, we do the centrifugal casting, we still do, mold making of the large round molds. I mean, there's a whole process which is still beautiful in itself that gives jewelry a kind of just, really one of a kind thing that you're not going to get from a machined part. We can machine jewelry all day long. And yes, it's a little bit less expensive to do that kind of stuff. Sometimes, actually, not necessarily always. But that beautiful handcrafted kind of made stuff, I think there's just something more to be said about that because it's going to last a lot longer. And we're not getting parts that we're just like machining and then they're getting flash plated and they're cheap. It's like we don't want to be that brand. So I've never was that brand, and I think that's why I've continued to gain traction with my business, and I've continued to gain higher quality clients. We do fine jewelry, we do it all from costume jewelry to fashion jewelry to fine jewelry. So I work with pewter, I work with brass, I work with sterling silver, I work with gold, I work with white gold, we work with platinum. I mean, we work with all the materials. We explore, we play, we get creative. Really, there's nothing holds us back. And I think that's why we get a lot of creative projects from clients. So yeah, I pride myself on it all being handmade. I think
Yeah,
that's the beauty of the business.
I think it's part of the experience. I think it's um, part of the value in the piece, quite frankly. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what they're buying. And, another thing is that I think you pride yourself on jewelry made in the USA. And,
Yeah.
and so you talk to us a little bit about that. How's that work out? What are you doing? How you making it? You said
How do
you
I make
mentioned
it?
you had three people. Who are
Yeah.
you?
They're
What's going on in
brilliant
Lani's
musicians.
United
They're
States?
artists. I mean, there's like three of us, but I've had to hire more employees here and there off and on. I get apprentices here and there that love it, but then they go to college and stuff. So it's really like hiring the right people. But no, I work with some really amazing artists and talent, and we all just kind of work together. So we each have a part, right? Like I develop and I design the stuff, and then I come in and I'll hand make some of the models, or I've got another model maker who's really talented, and he comes in and he makes stuff. So I actually, when I say like there's only like three or four of us, I do freelance a lot of artists to come in and help me, essentially. So, because I have manufacturing orders, like hundreds of units of items, I just physically can't do that. So I'll freelance artists to come in and help me out and do just a job here and there. So essentially, right now, I'm trying to kind of find one of those that will stay longer and kind of help me grow. And then we've got there's three of us artists in a space. We all share a space. And so we each are developing different brands. So we're all in there kind of helping each other out. We've got our casting machines, we've got all the deburring wheels, and we've got the plating, and we've got the tumbling, so it's like we're all kind of in here helping each other out with different aspects of the job. And then, we've got, when we're not in the shop, we're designing and we're working on marketing and we're doing retail, and I'm trying to deal with clients. And so, I'm
Yep,
always going. It's a
there's no.
fun job, but it's a lot sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. It can be for sure, and that's part of growth. So you get what you ask for, I guess. And
Oh,
and
yes.
being a good designer and jeweler and being a good business person are really two different roles.
They really are. And my first degree is actually business marketing and management. So I knew if I was going to be an artist, like I had to have some kind of a business background, because how do you sell your art if you don't understand business, right? Which is kind of like what I'll give as my tip when we leave, right, to the artists out there. But yeah, you gotta know business essentially. If you're going to be an artist, you have to understand marketing and know how to market yourself. I might not have a ton of followers on all the social media, but I've got clients who I've worked with for 10 years. You get repeat business. That's all you need to keep yourself afloat.
Yeah,
So, and that's how you get new customers and things like that. So, marketing is very targeted towards specific audiences and things like that, and understanding all of that to go along with the jewelry biz.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is fun. Um, so so let's dive into a little bit more about where you're at right now and where your future vision is.
That's an interesting question because I was trying to think about that today because I knew that was going to come up. Um, I hit my 10-year mark, right? And I've had one of those kind of just moments where I'm like, what do I see for the next 5 years of my business, And like I said, I work with a couple other artists in the shop. And so we've been sitting down and we've been having our conversations and talks and saying, what do we want these next 5 years to look like? And and then I've got also another business venture that I've decided to start also, um, which don't know why I decided to do that. But anyways, for another day. So I've got all these things just kind of happening and I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? And to be quite frankly, I really don't know. I'm still deciding, but we feel like we're going to start doing more education. I think that that's going to probably be a big focus for these next 5 years is to help educate designers and businesses on the jewelry manufacturing process and how it all works within the USA. And we're going to have people come into our studio and work with us and do one-on-one kind of teaching and then do small little batch education and stuff and really help designers to understand what it is to make your jewelry in America and how you can help yourself grow. Like, are you just going to be a crafter? Let's help you to just be a crafter, right? Are you going to be a designer? Let us help you be a designer. Are you going to manufacture your stuff? Let us help you manufacture here versus overseas. Let us teach you these things. So I think we are going to really start focusing more on the education aspect of it. We'll always keep doing what we're doing, making stuff and growing the brand. But I think that I think our direction is going to go that way with the business, honestly.
Wow. That, I think it's a great place to be. Education is a digital product, it's scalable. You can pound tons of value into it. You can help a lot of people with it.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. And I think probably needed in the market.
I think so too. I feel like, the problem isn't that we need more designers because there's a lot of people that really want to be designers. Like, great, let's let you do it, right? But let's help you to do it smart. Don't spend all your money on buying a ton of product that you're manufacturing overseas. Like, let's help you really build your brand. Let's help you figure out what it is you want to do. So I think that like, that's the problem is like you have so many ideas and so many brands that are just trying to make it as designers and sell their stuff and they don't understand business and they don't know how to market themselves and they're spending all this money and they're buying all this stuff and they're hurting themselves. Like, let us help you. The problem is that, and our solution is let's educate you. Come to us. Like, we want to help you. You can grow yourself, but understand what your brand is, understand who you are, what it is you want to sell, who you want to sell it to. Like, you got to understand all that stuff if you want to make it in the jewelry world, honestly, because there are a lot of jewelry designers out there, and there's not a lot of manufacturers, but you got to find good ones. You got to figure out who you're working with. There's a lot of aspects that go into jewelry. You don't just say, hey, I want to make this piece and think, oh, it's going to cost me $5. No, there's a lot. You got to design it. You got to make models. You got to create molds. You got to sell it. You got to market it. You got to photograph it. You got to do all these things. So there's a lot, they don't know all this stuff. Come to us. Let us help you. Let us teach you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Essentially.
I love that. I love that. So you mentioned a couple things about the growth and marketing days and things like that. So what do you do to market yourself? What's the most successful channels? And just kind of dive into how you acquire customers.
There's many ways to acquire customers. Well, so we do back end to front end, right? So we market to custom jewelry manufacturing. So anybody, small businesses who want to make their jewelry, we market on Google and social, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're on all of those at The Urban Charm. For all of those, I should probably share that so you know how to get in touch with us. At The Urban Charm for TikTok, social, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all of them. It's all The Urban Charm, okay? And it's The Urban Charm. Let me get that straight. There's a lot of urban charms out there, but we are the urban charm. Okay. THE urban charm. Just make sure you guys all know that. We are the OGs. Anyways,
Yeah, love it.
and then we market in person. So we do pop-ups. We do large live jewelry bars where we do actually educate and do hands-on like creating at the locations. We have retail stores, so we do pop-ups in our retail stores to market to also kind of get new clients to come in and see what we do and also to sell our products there. So we market through all different avenues. We don't just market ourselves as a jewelry designer or a brand or a custom jewelry manufacturer. We dip ourselves into all of these kind of outlets, which helps. And then we use all the platforms, obviously, to put that information out there.
So you guys do more like organic type stuff, or if you guys dabbled into some paid media, and also who do
I
you?
have never paid, no, I've never paid for any marketing media. And I've had my business 10 years, you guys. So could you only imagine? And I've reached 36 states and a couple global. Now, you guys, just knowing that that's all I've done, if I were to pay for marketing, how much more scalable this business could be. So I don't know. I believe in it all being organic. I think that was the whole beauty of why I started the business, right? Just keeping it very small, keeping it. But now I would like to see it more out there, and like I said, and educate more and kind of put it out there. When I started my business, way back in the day, the whole reason why I wanted to do it was to give other business owners like opportunities to have a business. So I was like, well, let's create a brand and then let's do like a direct networking kind of a jewelry type business. And so I like had that on the back burner. And now I'm like, you know what? Let's just go educate. Should that ever happen? It happens, right? But right now I'm just kind of like, I just want to educate and help people learn and kind of see where that takes me these next 5 years. Maybe we'll pay for some marketing, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. No, I just organic is definitely good, but when you had mentioned like the social media platforms and things, I was just wondering if you guys were kind of taking a more of an organic approach, and if you guys had what you'd experienced and dabbled in and things like that. So the brick and mortar locations, that's pretty cool. How many do you have of those? Are those pop-ups or those like real brick and mortar locations?
I don't physically have brick and mortar locations. Retailers carry my line. So I have three of them in California. We have one in uh, uh, Los Gatos up north. There's one in Long Beach and then one in Garden Grove. And then we have sold to 36 states across the country. And then the pop-ups are just usually Orange County based, Long Beach based, LA based. It's just kind of locally. We do just pop-ups at events and things like that. Or we'll go to all of our retail locations and pop up at their locations as well. Yeah.
Nice. And as far as like the way that you've leveraged technology for, let's say, your website or e-commerce, what's the good, the bad, the ugly there?
It's all me doing all of it. So it sucks sometimes, and then it's fun sometimes because I get to be creative. And then other times it's frustrating because, it's a lot of learning to do. And so sometimes I just have to pay people to do a little bit for me here and there because I don't have the time or patience to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of, like I said, I wanted to understand every aspect of my business, and being an artist for so many years, how could I not understand this kind of stuff, technology? But yeah, I don't know. We use it, and we do CAD rendering. So, I do all that too. I hire some people to freelance that kind of stuff too. But I don't know. I just kind of learned how to use all of it essentially.
Yeah, it's definitely a major part of our lives. And there is a completely new wave of technology coming to the industry. Every industry, our both personally and in business and everything. Yeah, AI. And so, um, obviously, this is sponsored by jewelrybox.ai, which is our company, and who hosts sponsors the podcast. But
Yeah.
we do that because really we're empathetic to small business owners. My past is I've worked in corporate. I've also built my own tech company. I've seen it all in my family. I grew up in the jewelry business, so saw my dad be a small business owner, and these big box, stores and people with more money are definitely leveraging AI, and most people do not understand what that's going to do and how fast it's going to do it. So I always ask people, what they know about it, and not necessarily from a design standpoint, from just an absolute like utilizing it in any shape or form. So yeah, a scale of 1 to 10. What do you know about AI and your staff, and what do you guys think?
I love AI. It's a life changer. It's a game changer. Um, let's just say that it has helped me with marketing so much in the past year. Honestly, it's like time management. Man, it helps you with like your time. But I will tell you, you have to be very specific with AI. AI is needs guidance and it needs to be educated. Essentially, right? You got to tell it what you want.
Very much so. It's all about um, training, prompt chaining. There's a whole thing to that, and most people are jumping in there saying, "Hey, write me a thing or tell me about this," and they don't know it, but they're putting junk in it and they're getting junk out of it. But man, if you
Yeah.
know how to train these things correctly, it is invaluable. So super cool. And as far as the systems that you guys are using right now to run the business, do you guys use like a Shopify site? You have a CRM? Um, People come in, use Stripe. Like what's the business systems you use?
We use Shopify,
Great.
and some of our like drop ship accounts, they have different platforms they use. So Stripe, Square, Cash App. I mean, all of them. Shop Pay. What is it? Affirm. All of those. So you guys can actually make payment plans, all that kind of stuff through the website if you shop on the website. Yeah, Shopify. I tried Wix. Shopify is kind of easier for me, worked better for me. And I really like, it has a lot of analytics I can kind of look at and compare, and it helps with all that kind of stuff. And it's I can use it to, the integrations are really nice. So I can integrate my forms and I can integrate all of, just subscriptions and like just anything. It's really great. So
So
I've
I
kind of,
yeah.
yeah, I will say though, sometimes I have a hard time with their customer service because they don't have a phone number. So yes, I'm calling you out, Shopify. All right. And your chat
Ah,
sometimes it
well,
takes me a minute. So while I'm promoting you, I'm still kind of getting on you right now. All right. I hope you hear this because I know I'm not the only one. Shopify's hard sometimes. It's great, but dot, dot, dot. Okay.
all tech can be tough, and it kind of goes back to I think what we talked about is not necessarily knowing which way to go, and also being the quarterback
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily knowing how to let go of that or to go to that other side of the field. And I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with, a lot of business owners struggle with. There's emotional ties to that. There's conditional patterns that are tied to that. There are things in your head that you just may think there is zero chance someone else is going to do that. So, um, it's all stuff I've learned from other people and seen other people, and then also go through myself, of course, as a business owner. So,
Yeah.
uh, looking forward to watching you get through those things, and here to help you through those transitions, because there is 100% ways to get through and scale. You typically want to start by um, knowing what you want to accomplish, sometimes in a short and a long term increment, being able to track that, being able to track that progress over certain departments. There's softwares like Traction; they cost a lot of money. I actually I have it built out into an Excel sheet. Happy to give it to you for free. But I used that to scale from 140K to 9.2 million in sales for one of my company in 1 year. Um, so identifying that, and then automating what you can, and then delegating what you can't. So we can definitely talk more about it and dive in. But you've accomplished a lot, Lonnie. And I wanted to just give you the opportunity to just give people the, one more reminder on how to get a hold of you. And, if you're looking for anything specific from the community, and then one little piece of advice.
Okay. Yeah. So Lani Harmony, the Urban Charm, and the website is www.urbancharm.shop. And then all of the social media is at the Urban Charm. A piece of advice, I would say just ask for help. Because it can be hard to start a business and try to run it all by yourself and have all these hats. So have faith that you can put yourself out there and there's going to be people who want to help you. Like Anthony right here, you reached out to me and this is the first time I've ever done a podcast. So, now I'm putting myself out there a little bit more visually in these kinds of conversations, right? So ask for help, accept help, be okay with it. Don't just try to run your whole entire business by yourself. You don't need to. There's people out there that want to help you and they're going to help you to do it if you ask for it and accept it. So, yeah, there we
Dang,
go.
that's some really good advice. I get a lot of good advice that might be really overlooked by a lot of independent business owners.
Yeah,
Just
just ask for help.
that's really good. Well, I appreciate that, Lonnie. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I look forward to building a relationship with you and seeing you continue to grow into another 10 years if you want.
Thank you. I do. This is going to be my baby for life. I feel like it's kind of my retirement business, honestly, because I've got a nice business built. If I wanted to sell it, I could sell it. But why would I want it? So it's going to last forever. It's just
Hell yeah.
each 5 years, I just kind of have to set a new goal for myself. So I'm in that position where I'm trying to figure that out.
I
That's all.
love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of the day to hang out with us, guys. And also another episode of Blink Talk sponsored by JewelryBox.ai, Lani Harmony with at the Urban Charm. Thank you so much for being on. Talk
Thanks,
soon.
Anthony. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.